Is being investigated in at least 14 states for voter registration fraud back in the 2008 election. Many of its workers have pleaded guilty to such fraud. And then we learned that for some reason the Obama Census Department has decided to partner with ACORN to help conduct the 2010 census. That is very important to elections, how the census comes out. A couple of months ago, ACORN's spokesperson came on this program and downplayed ACORN's role in the census, saying ACORN's workers would not be helping to conduct the census and would not be going door to door. Listen here.
It'll be the census that'll be hiring workers, not ACORN.
And you will be helping provide them with those workers. You'll be connecting them with ACORN workers.
Again, let me tell you again. We have agreed here to sponsor community events.
Don't read, Scott.
Agreed to sponsor community. I am, Megan. I'm telling you exactly
Just answer my question. The answer's not in your notes.
No, it's not in my notes.
Will ACORN be connecting the census officials with ACORN workers for the purpose of providing them to go door to door?
That is not what we've agreed to at this.
Okay, so no ACORN workers are going door to door.
That is not what we've agreed to, no.
Well, our next guest says that was a lie. Tom Fitton is the president of Judicial Watch, and he says he's got the documents to prove it. Tom, good morning to you.
Hey, thanks, Meg. How are you?
All right, so you've been investigating exactly what the role is that ACORN is going to be playing in this census. And this is important because the census does help decide how district lines are drawn, and that can really affect elections. And so that's why they're not supposed to politicize it in any way, and that's why people get worried when they hear a group like ACORN is helping in any way. Now, ACORN spokesperson claimed to me that ACORN would not be helping the Census Bureau find any workers who are going to be going door to door, and that its workers, people who did work for ACORN, would not be the ones going door to door. What do the documents you have come up with prove?
Well, the partnership agreement that ACORN entered into with the Census Bureau indicates that ACORN, among its activities on behalf of the census, would alert its activists and its markets to the fact that the census is hiring tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of individuals to help conduct the census. And presumably, ACORN is in a position then to shuffle and direct resumes of its activists and its supporters to the Census Bureau to have them temporarily work collecting the information on people's, doing the counting.
So when Scott Levinson came on this program and told me that ACORN would not be helping to connect the Census Bureau with any of its workers, people who had done the work for ACORN in the 2008 election, the documents you have say that's not true.
Well, you see where they check what they want to do and what they don't want to do. One of the things they check that they're willing to do would be to help the census hire workers. So presumably ACORN is now in a position to funnel resumes to the Census Bureau, and the outstanding question is just how many resumes they did direct to Census, and is the Census Bureau hiring former ACORN activists or volunteers?
Well, how can we find that out? I mean, if ACORN, just because ACORN said that they wanted to do it doesn't mean the Census Bureau said that they could do it.
Well, the Census Bureau said they would accept resumes from all quarters, except, of course, if you're associated with law enforcement or an anti-immigration group or a hate group, which is another matter. But they are willing to work with ACORN. They let them join up after the deadline had passed. And when you review the documents, Megan, you see this sort of a snide response to the concerns about having ACORN work there. But there's no acknowledgement, as you noted at the top of the hour, or at the top of the segment, that they had been involved in criminal and fraudulent activity. So I don't know why you would want to be associated with a group that can't register voters appropriately and rely on them to count individuals appropriately.
Well, that's the thing. And you point out that the Census Bureau has decided not to allow law enforcement to go out there and help conduct the census. And you can't go out and conduct the census if you're part of a, quote, anti-immigrant group. But
let's be clear. The Census Bureau conducts the census. They don't want to partner with groups that they perceive as hate groups, and they bundle those, and they bundle the word hate in with law enforcement and anti-immigrant. So if you say the wrong things, you can't partner with our government. But if you're ACORN, you can. And that, to me, is an ideological discrimination. It raises First Amendment concerns. And this is, to me, the Napolitano memo, Part 2, where you have our government has this attitude towards perceived conservatives they don't want to work with us.
Well, who decides what's hate group? You know, what are hate groups? That's the problem, because we've seen that.
I mean, Megan,
you mentioned Napolitano, Janet Napolitano, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, and it was her department that was behind the first memo that described hate groups as including people who oppose abortion and oppose illegal immigration.
Megan, you're a lawyer. Maybe you can find me the federal government definition of what a hate group is. But, you know, coming out of the Obama administration, they essentially mean anyone who disagrees with them. I
mean, are we essentially now at the point, Tom, are you telling me that you can't have cops? I mean, this is the way it's been in the past, too, with respect to law enforcement. They're not allowed to help conduct the census because they don't want people to be intimidated. But the bottom line is we can't have cops go out and help with the census. We can't have people who oppose illegal immigration go out and help with the census because they may be considered part of a hate group. At least that's a possibility. But you can have a group that's under investigation for fraud in 14 states and whose workers have actually pleaded guilty to fraud in several states. They're okay. That's fine.
You got it exactly right. So the Fraternal Order of Police is not welcome at the Census Bureau, but the radicals at ACORN are.
What, if anything, can be done about this, Tom? Does anybody raise a stink about this? Does anybody care? I mean, is it too late? Is it already, you know, done deal?
No, it's not too late. We're raising a stink about it, and I think pressure needs to be brought to bear on the Census Bureau to further explain the ongoing relationship. There is a relationship, we've confirmed it, between the Census Bureau and ACORN, and both parties tried to play it down. Both the Census Bureau and the ACORN people tried to play it down. You know, there was a snide comment in one of the emails suggesting, well, I bet you the agreement was done under Bush. No, it wasn't done under Bush. It was done under Obama. And, you know, as you know, President Obama is an ACORN activist, in my view. He represented them. He trained them. He's in alliance with them. And so, you know, this is a really serious issue. People want to have faith that the census is depoliticized. And when you examine these documents, when you see the attitude towards conservatives, law enforcement or anti-immigrant, which is their code word for pretty much all conservatives, you see that this is not a bureau that's acting in a neutral fashion.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we're not having that guy Scott Levinson on this program anymore. He's just too incendiary. He dropped the F-bomb in our program when I had to cut his mic.
Oh, wow.
He's not welcome here again, but we will take any other spokesperson from ACORN, and we'll take a spokesperson from the Census Bureau to come on and explain their side of the story, and they have that open invitation. Tom, in the meantime, thank you for being here. We appreciate you doing it.